Hi friends, I'm Ashley and welcome to Darling Cottage Diary. We are finishing up our Spooky Estate series that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. And we started, if you first time joining us, this very first page started out as a gilded party. That's the story. We're at this Gilded Age Mansion kind of party, and we start exploring the house. And the further we get into it, the creepy little things within each room start becoming more and more visible. And obviously this demon coming out of a mirror inspired by Constantine was last week's episode. And to tie everything together, I had quite a few requests for an attic, a linen closet, a cellar, a basement, and all of these kind of little liminal spaces in a house that most people don't think of. You know, when you go to a house as a guest, you don't think about where the food is kept, where the food's made, where the linens are stored, where anything else is stored in a basement or attic. And so it felt right to finish this story in a quieter space. And I was actually quite inspired by one of my very favorite authors, if not my favorite author, Margaret Atwood. I've mentioned her on this channel before, and her stories are told with such a vividness that her imagery is beautiful, but her prose is as well. And this Cellar is a very prominent, it's almost a character in and of itself in this story. I say Elias Grace, but I think it's probably pronounced Alias Grace, like using an alias name. And Netflix made a short limited series, which is basically just a 6-hour movie of the book, which was really great because they didn't cut out very much, and they were so true to it. Atwood collaborated with the writers, collaborated with the actors. She actually has a cameo in it. If you've seen it, she's the lady in the church who is side-eyeing them. I think it's in the 3rd or 4th episode. And no, it's the 4th episode. And she said something like, "It's disgraceful," or whatever. And anyway, it's a really, in some ways, it's a beautiful show. Like visually, it's very beautiful, but it's contrasted against this really intense murder mystery story. And it's a whodunit, and through the whole thing you understand who did do it, but are they responsible? And so the moral questions it asks the audience, the historical details that are in it, because it is based on a real people, it's a fantastic book and fantastic film. I highly recommend. So we're also going back to this little mirror type paper that is going to be we're finally finding out what our crime weapon is. I'll show you that at the end. And those of you who are in my Ephemera Club, if you haven't received your ephemera yet, that is because I was very sick for about a week and a half, right around the 15th when I normally ship these out. And I did not want to typhoid Mary all of my germs to y'all, so I held on to them. You should be getting them, hopefully like early this week. And this is most of what's in it. There's a few extra little goodies, but this is mostly what's in it. Lots of jars and jams, because our theme was apothecary this month for October. And so all these little die cuts will be in there with different papers. So some people will be getting these black ones, some people will be getting some different colored brown ones. And like they're all kind of craft papery. And then some bigger blue jars that way. The cabinet that we saw in the kitchen episode. These two are stickers. It's Poppies and Belladonna, if you know what that is, Deadly Nightshade. And then we have Mandrake and Wolfsbane. Those are just regular paper ephemeras. So I hope y'all like them. I'm sorry they're late. And right here, this thing that I'm stamping on is actually just a dried out tea bag. Like, I made some Irish breakfast tea and let it dry and dumped the tea leaves in my garden and then ironed it flat. And I love using these for artificially aging things as well as backgrounds like this. I wanted this to look like, what are they called? Water eggs, or it's where you put like lime, or there's a chemical you can mix with water and put eggs in it, and they'll store at room temperature for up to 6 months. And that was a really common practice for storing eggs. I mean, it's common practice now, but it was at the time that this is supposed to be. So I was trying to make that. And then also wanted to do a little wine jug, because homemade wine or muscadine wine, that's a very big thing in a lot of parts of the United States. And also I know in Europe too, probably not muscadine, but as far as just having a home brewery was a big deal for various homesteads and estates throughout history. So those dried herbs like lavender and other fruits and vegetables that keep better at room temperature. Before we had modern refrigeration, that is how we stored food. There are all kinds of ingenious ways our ancestors stored food, and you can still do it today. People still do it today. I am definitely one for making jam whenever my figs come into season during the summer, and putting up a lot of fig jam and other types of, you can do Moroccan lemons, or I don't know if that's what they're called, but you do salted lemons, and those keep really well. Anyway, so I was just trying to recreate some of that, as well as have some normal equipment that you might see in a cellar that has to do with food preparation, as well as a few little creepy things here and there just to keep in our theme. Okay, so these I got from Michael's this year. They are probably going to be on sale this week because the Halloween is this week. So if you like these, the little bubble stickers, definitely go grab you some before they run out. These are from Korea and they're really great. With transfer stickers and handmade paper, y'all have probably had this experience. They don't always want to stick to, they want to stay on the plastic instead of on the paper when the fibers are real loose, like on a lot of handmade papers. So I kind of had to fight this for a little while, and throw my tools because I was concentrating so hard. But anyway, it finally did mostly stick. And then these are part of that roll from the Washi Tape shop that they sent me a few months ago, and I just didn't find them until recently, and look how cute. As a gardener, I was squeeing when I was unrolling this the first time, and it also just fit perfectly with the cellar because we want to store all of our vegetables in a stable, 55 degrees environment. And this cellar in particular, the story that I'm referencing happens in Canada, so they have far cooler temperatures year-round than where I live down in Texas. And so a cellar is, I'm sure much more efficacious than it is here. I also live right on the Gulf Coast, so it's like the water table is so high, you dig down 2 feet and the hole will fill up with water a lot of times. Like, I live in the swamp, I've mentioned this before. So we don't have cellars here because the ground's very unstable and the water table is so high. But if I ever live anywhere else, I definitely want to have one because they're great for storing fruits and vegetables without electricity. And of course we had to have a few extra little creepy things in here. So circling back to the story itself that is motivating this last page. If you saw the kitchen episode, you do know that it is probably someone who's disgruntled, and then the bedroom last week, maybe you saw the Constantine demon coming out of the mirror. So perhaps this idea of someone who worked there who is disgruntled for just reasons, or maybe somebody who was trying to protect the children of the house and were unintentionally touched by this creature coming out of the mirror. Whatever it is that makes people tip that scale, right? Whatever it is that makes somebody cross that line into harming somebody else. This is the idea behind this last story, in my story converging with this story of Grace Marks and Elias Grace. She was a real person, and the crime that happened was she and this other servant who worked at this wealthy Scottish immigrant's estate, homestead in Canada. They took care of they got rid of him and the housekeeper, who was stationed, their stations were below hers. And she was found, the crime happened in the basement, or in the cellar, and the axe can tell you the rest of the story. I don't want YouTube to get mad at me giving too much of the story away. It is certainly a mature film and series and books, but most of the story, even though it's trying to understand Grace's perspective and try to figure out whether she's guilty or not, and also whether she's responsible or not, it's actually, the story is just being woven into this massive quilt of a design by her as the narrator. And nobody else's perspective is shown. It is in the book and in the show. It's her perspective, and we can't tell if she's lying or not. We can't tell if she's, has a there's a psychopathic element to it. We can't tell a lot of different things. So her motivations, you can certainly empathize with her. And at some points of the story, you root for her, and you don't care if she's guilty or not, and you just want her to win. And in some places, you don't want her to be guilty. You want her to just get out from under this bad situation she's in, because she's gone through a lot, and you just want her to live this happily ever after kind of life. And the fact that you war with yourself, it really helps put a mirror in front of you to show you the reflection of what you feel justice is. It asks the audience, what is your sense of justice? And it asks the audience, what would you do in this situation? It asks us to empathize with a lot of the different characters, but her primarily. And the disparaging differences between the rights of men and women at that time period, as well as the rights of the wealthy and the poor, the rights between natural-born citizens and immigrants, Irish immigrants in particular. It asks us a lot. And I love stories that make me feel, and I love stories that make me question my morality, because if we're not questioning, are we growing, right? And so it's a really cool way to look at history and look at the nature of crime as well, to look at the nature of what pushes somebody to this, or are they just insane and can't feel empathy, so do they just toy with people because they're bored? And that's another kind of, my ladies who like watching crime dramas, or my ladies who like watching certain scary documentaries, real life documentaries, you will get this. If you unwind to serial killer documentaries, you'll like the show. Anyway, so as far as the techniques I'm using right here, it's very similar to the hand that I made in the last episode, same color as well. It's just polymer clay, and instead of baking it, I used a heat gun. I did not burn it this time, so go me. I judged the timing a little bit better. But I was trying to make, obviously an axe handle, and add the axe with, this is our creepy element for the page, our creepiest element for the page and in the story. So I really hope you enjoyed this whole series. I really enjoyed doing a series, so I think I'm going to continue doing a few, 3, 4, 5 episodes pertaining to a certain theme. Some of them will be like, I know we have holidays coming up, so I'll probably be doing a gift series at some point, as well as something that's much more light. After doing so many episodes of kind of this creepy, scary, dark theme, I'm ready to do something that's much more light and fun. I was watching Silver Skates the other night. I was like, okay, I'm ready to embrace the coquette girliness again. Anyway, I want to go ahead also right now and thank my Ephemera Club for supporting me this month. Ariel, Rasha, Abigail, Britt, Carly, Crystal, Denise, Jennifer, Joanna, Kim, LP, Patsy, Kenna, Rebecca, Teresa, Tracy, Alicia, Cindy, Effie, Emily, Keisha, Kathleen, Carrie, Kristen, Rachel, W, Sasha, and Rebecca. You guys are all wonderful. I appreciate it so much. And this ink is so beautiful. My sister gave it to me for my birthday. It is from you saw the Hobbit Hut name on it, but she got it at Renfest when she went with her husband a few weeks ago. So it's a local artist, and that's so cute. What I really like about it is when you write on dark paper like this, you can't see it. It's almost like invisible ink. You have to move the light around. You have to move the page around, and then you can see it flash gold. So it's really cool. I want to write in it in just like a black journal, like a black paper journal, so that it's very like hidden in that way. Anyway, the quote also comes from the book and the show, and it's when Nancy, the housekeeper, is giving Grace a tour of the house and the cellar in particular. It's very ominous, and she says, "You could fall and break your neck. Make sure you take a candle, because you could fall down and break your neck," which is important in the story, is what I'll leave you with. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me in this series. It was really wonderful. It was really fun. I hope you have a wonderful week. And if you have any requests for themes in the future, please leave them in the comment section below. See you next week. Thank you for being here. Bye.